You're listening to the Luxe Life Discovered podcast, where we talk with people who are living a lifestyle that reflects their passion, because we believe everyone should be living their best life, their Luxe Life. The show is hosted by Rick Steiner with Steiner Event Group, a premier national event planning company, and co-hosted by Shannon Richmond, the Vice President of the Panama City Beach Chamber of Commerce. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notifications of future episodes. The show is produced by 30A Media and is broadcast on your favorite podcast outlets, as well as YouTube, Roku TV, Amazon Fire TVs, and other major brand smart TVs.
Hello, I'm Rick Steiner. Welcome to Luxe Life Discovered. My guest today is Hope Given, a local songwriter. So Hope, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'll show you. Yeah.
To be told, like, it's not a respectable or feasible job, that people don't make money playing gigs.
Yeah.
This area is great for it.
I was going to say, that's, yeah, you can prove that wrong down here for sure. So do you still play the piano?
I still play the piano. I don't pull it out at gigs very often, mostly for transport purposes. I do have like an 88 Casio keyboard, but it's very rare I play it out and about. That's kind of like my personal time, if that makes sense. It feels
kind of when
more private.
Yeah. Kind of just like therapeutic.
Very much so.
Yeah.
All music has been, but the piano, it's always just felt more private than a guitar.
That makes sense, yeah, because you mainly use your guitar when you're playing.
I do. I am a guitar, no pedals. I want to say the same plugged in as I do unplugged.
Nice.
So basically built for busking is kind of how I look at it. I do really well on street corners.
Okay.
In a musical way.
I'm glad you put that down.
You're welcome.
My oldest son, taught himself how to play the guitar. He really does well with it. And, it's been fun because my wife and I are not musically inclined. I think she'd be okay with me saying that about her. But, I mean, we don't play any instruments or anything.
It's never too late, though, if you ever found the time to devote to it.
I was forced to take piano lessons when I was young and did it for the sake of having to do it. And now that I'm, my age, I'd love to be able to just sit down and play. But when I was taking lessons as a kid, I wasn't allowed to just make noise. I was only allowed to make noise that were my specific lessons. And so that was really hard to show that sort of restraint, because I did. I bet, because you're creative.
Always have been. And I just wanted to kind of play around and was told to kind of stay in specific lanes. And so there was a period after I graduated high school where I didn't touch a piano for almost 5 years.
Because of that?
Yeah, just because I wasn't quite ready to do it my way yet. But I got over that hill. So at least.
So what does your family say when you play now and they're like, oh, wow, that's
I think it still surprises them every once in a while, because even if I only play the piano typically when I'm home alone. So if I hear somebody come home, I typically stop. And so it's strange that I kind of have kept it for me as much as I could. I don't know if that's protective or territorial.
That's
or
your
what
time,
exactly.
like you were talking about earlier. That's your time.
That's my time.
So, yeah, that makes sense. I like that. So you also are a songwriter.
I am, yes,
so
sir.
So kind of then we'll get to that other part. So tell us about the songwriting. How did that begin? And because it seems like everybody has their reason. It doesn't happen. They're like, there's a reason that they put the words to music. And what was your reason?
My original reason was boredom. It was me on a bus ride as a kid. I was about 7 and just trying to pass the time and keep myself entertained. And so I wrote this song about a talking cat. So of course it was just fictitious and off the wall and nonsense.
Like a Phoebe on Friends type thing?
Kind of, yeah. It's basically Smelly Cat in a way.
And you know, funny, like we just said that about Smelly Cat. Most people can relate to Smelly Cat because of her.
Yeah, it's an instant recognizable sort of pop culture moment through song.
Yeah. So you started writing.
Started through boredom, and then it progressed into having really hard feelings that I didn't know how to process. And so writing was kind of my therapeutic way to understand what I was feeling. And as I grew up, I had to learn how to not just write for me, to make it more applicable so that anybody could hear it and find a way to connect with it. Because that's kind of my goal, is I want to write things that make people feel like they're not alone in this mess, because I think all of us have kind of felt that at some point. And so just any form of connection, a glimmer of hope that I can give people, I've chosen to try to live up to my name.
Well, it's good. And the music is also a way that most people can connect.
It is.
You know, even those that aren't musically inclined.
No, it is such a strong
that.
form of connection. And it really fascinates me because in both kids and think like elderly dementia, once the brain is going, the way that somebody who often doesn't know who they are can still remember songs and remember lyrics.
Brings back memories.
And for kids, it's putting things into song form so that they have ability to retain it. And a lot of those songs we learned as kids, like My 50 States, are still in song form.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a lot of power in it. I think it's a magical profession that I feel very lucky to have been doing as long as I have.
Right, yeah. Well, and you're right, they can't relate to it because with children, we have a 8-year-old granddaughter who, it's amazing the things that she picks up on, and, you know, words that she remembers and songs she remembers. There's one in Korean. There's some, I forgot what the fad is right now, but it's I can't think of the group, but anyway, it's a Korean
It's
song.
probably a Demon Hunter.
It is. It's something to do with that group, and but she knows the whole word.
And it's incredible. It's such a great way to learn different languages. There are so many purposes for it aside from just like making a noise.
Yeah. In fact, you know, you said that it was Demon Hunter. That is who it is because when my wife, we were talking about that this morning. I'm like, I don't know if I like her. I didn't realize that was part of it.
It's such a dangerous thing also because a lot of times they'll be singing something without even realizing what it is that they're saying. And so
that's true too. Yeah. So you have to be careful with that. But the positive part of all that is just being able to relate. And if you can relate to something, especially if you're going through something or dealing with something that you feel like nobody else has ever been through or dealt with, if you can relate to it, then it makes you realize, hey, I'm not
alone in it.
Right. And I'm not messed up.
Yeah.
You know?
I think we're all a little messed up, and that's okay. We're all just kind of learning
Some of us just don't realize it yet.
Oh, and that's the most dangerous kind, though, is if you're unable to realize where your problems lie.
That's true.
You've really got to spend the time and scope within yourself to figure out where your issues come from so that you can kind of one at a time work at them, chisel them. Because, I mean, humans are really adaptable. And so I like to think if we want to learn something, if we want to change something, we have the power to a big degree.
No, that's good. So being from Fort Walton Beach and staying here, did you move off at any time?
I've done some stints away. Some time up in like Pacific Northwest was beautiful.
Okay.
Have done some work with cruise ships. Okay. And so that was Australia and Papua New Guinea and down to Tasmania. Nice. Just places I never thought I would have the opportunity to go. All through music. Just from sticking to my guns and being like, no, this is how I'm going to live my life. And it's really brought some beautiful outcomes. It's been a ride.
Well, wow. So tell us about the cruise ship experience and playing on that, because I'm sure that was probably good at times, and at times you're like, what
did I get myself into? You're exactly right. I tell people that even though I've never been to prison, it's what I imagine is the perfect mix of prison and summer camp, where it is such a regimented, because we're there as musicians, but there's so much more that we're required to do. And it was weeks of orientation just to learn about the ship itself and to learn your safety stuff.
But you're performing, but you're really working.
Yes.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's all.
There were additional roles that everybody had. And when we weren't playing our music sets, it was part of our job to mingle with the passengers. And sometimes that could be overwhelming. Like there was nowhere to hide.
Yeah.
And it was tricky because it was in my contract that I couldn't leave my cabin without a full face of makeup. And that was really hard for me to do because I was not a makeup girl and have since erased it from my life. Like I'll do it when I have to. This is what you have to work with and be grateful kind of situation.
Oh, me. Isn't it funny how we get ourselves into situations in something like that, and you're like, this is not me. But
no,
but you have to be that for that.
You have to do it for a specific purpose. And people talk about like selling your soul and stuff like that. And I don't know if it would fall into that category, but sometimes you do what you have to do to get a job.
True.
And it was a great job. I see myself going that direction again. I just don't know when.
Yeah. So what was one of the most rewarding parts of that?
It's gotta be the people. I would be stupid if I didn't say the people. It was such a lesson in learning how to love people and then knowing their contract's going to end, or that people
are with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or that these passengers who you formed this bond with over the past week are going to be getting off the ship, and there's going to be a new group of faces to connect with. And so it's a lot of learning to love people in the moment respectfully, and then allowing them to go off into the world and live their own lives. And
sometimes that's those bonds are because I'll get connected to people, and then it's like,
where'd they go?
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it's only for a few days at a time. Sometimes it's lifelong.
What's the old saying? For reason, season, lifetime. You know, people bring into your life, come into your life for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime. Yeah, right. And that makes sense. And sometimes the lifetime and the seasons are great, but the reason part, it's like you want it to be longer sometimes.
Selfishly.
Yeah, and then sometimes you think that's good.
But people have to go off and live their lives the same way that
that's selfish of them.
Right?
Yeah.
Because I took my first cruise ship contract the same year that I got divorced. There was about a 6-month span between me leaving my marriage and me being on the other side of the world. Okay. So it was this eye-opening, I can do more than I have given myself credit for. Like, I can change my situation. I can pursue this path if I want to, and I really want to. So I've just been doing that.
And it gave you what perfect timing then, because that way
it was incredible.
You a chance to get to know yourself more, to do something, to
in a very big way. Because I started my first contract, I started as a duo, and I finished it as a solo. And so there were about that last 6 weeks where I had to stand on my own 2 feet and didn't have anybody to lean on aside from like the relationships I'd nurtured that were still on the ship.
Right.
And so I really had to search myself to figure out, like, who are you? What do you want to put into the world? Like, if you have 45 minutes to spend with people, what do you want to give them? Basically, my head honchos told me, because they understood my situation, that I could play whatever I wanted. It didn't have to be covers because they knew how much of a songwriter I was. Every one of those sets was original heavy. I turned it into story time. And it was such a cool way to connect with people that there are people. I bet your
passengers liked it.
Yeah, they did. Those honestly were the best of connections that I found through the passengers were in those last 6 weeks, because it was me really throwing my heart at people, and that tends to make an impact, is what I've learned.
Yeah. So how would you describe the music you write? What do you like? Is it particular? Does it fall into a particular genre, or is it just
I call it acoustic soul.
Acoustic soul.
It's got a lot of heart, and it's very simple. Where at my core, I do believe I'm a simple peasant girl, and just am still kind of like stuck in my teenage years, just in my room with a guitar. It's all very intimate. Bit folk, bit Americana, bit all over the place.
Yeah, I like that. I like the way that sounds good. Interesting. So being in this area, also a ton of musicians all along the Gulf Coast that people don't realize. And it's from songwriters to, people coming in from Nashville, but not just Nashville, LA,
everywhere,
all over the world are coming, they vacation here. Some of them have homes here, second homes here. But then like songwriter festivals and stuff. Are
big deal
into any of that yet?
Never tried.
Okay.
I've thought about it over the years, but I think I have been apprehensive to like throw my name into that goblet. And it's not the disappointment side that I'm worried about, because disappointment is a regular part of the business. Yeah. But I think I have gotten in my own way over the years and kind of held myself back, just kind of not sure if I was ready to play with the big dogs. This is the closest I felt to ready to play with the big dogs.
Well, good deal. Well, the rejection part, or the no part, not rejection, but
either way,
That is prevalent in so many areas,
Any
but
industry.
in music industry, good gracious, yeah, I can see that would be tough. But a rejection from some people is probably sometimes good because that's not your people.
Exactly.
But that's hard to. You don't know that in the beginning, and you get real discouraged and disappointed.
But I think you learn it by doing it, and you learn what kind of people are right for you and what kind of venues are right for you. Because I'm not the kind of person who should be playing like a 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. kind of thing. Like, you need a band. I'm not right for that gig, and I'm good with that. I've found enough of the places where I do feel right that it's still working.
Good. There was a songwriters festival at the Alice in Destin recently, and I helped the Alice with that event, and that was my first songwriters festival, and it was so much fun. It's more country music, but there was a lot of fun to see that and to be part of it, even though we're not with the songwriters group, but with the event group, and that aspect of it. But just to see the musicians that came in from Nashville, as well as the local musicians, and how they all gelled, and that was interesting. And there are other events all along the coast here that people don't know about. That not just country music, but every genre.
Every genre.
And so I want to explore more on that too, and kind of learn more about the area
and what it has to offer. Because there's a whole lot of us running around.
Yeah.
There really are.
So are you part of any kind of group here or y'all?
No. At this point, I feel kind of like an island.
Yeah.
Just a solo
Which
entity.
Is okay.
Yeah. No, I've been self-employed, like my own boss, and just kind of, I manage my time and choose to spend it how I see fit. And so it's a very fulfilling.
And that's a luxury most people.
It really is. I feel grateful.
They don't allow themselves to afford.
No, and it's scary. It is kind of a gamble, but if you stick to your guns and like you keep your head down and out of everybody's business and just focus thoroughly on what you're doing, I think it can work.
Yeah.
I hope it can work.
It is working.
It is working.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
So,
It is working.
So what would be, okay, as a songwriter, do you like your songs for just you to perform, or would you like some big name to?
It is the coolest thing to hear other people singing your songs.
So you're not one of those that's like, no, it's my song, I don't want to share.
No, I will share happily. Okay. And I had that thought a couple years ago where I really lost my voice for a bit. And it put me in the frame of like, if this were to be a permanent situation, how would I still feel fulfilled? Yeah. And that was definitely part of my brain, was writing for others and being able to write not even just my style, but put myself into their shoes. Yeah. And I've done a bit of that, which has been cool. And I've also done people, like I have people from the West Coast who are sending me beats who don't write. And so I get to go into a studio and just write around what somebody else has created. So it kind of works both ways.
Oh, okay. So like they're sending you the music to it.
Yeah. And they just need lyrics and a voice.
Okay. I never thought about that part of it. But
it works all sorts.
That's funny with the music industry, how all the different components, like
there's so much.
Well, you could do the music too because you're musically inclined, but I never thought about somebody being able to have the music part and think, oh man, I need some words to go with that.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, learned something today. Yeah.
Every day.
So, that's true. What have you been most surprised about the musicians along the coast over the years?
Honestly,
you've seen so many changes.
I've seen a ton of changes, but one of the most surprising things to me, I don't know if this is kind to say, but my guttural reaction is actually the musicians who choose not to change. The musicians who have played the same sets in the same order for 10 years at a time, that always surprises me. I don't know if that's in a good way, but
no, I see what you're saying, because there's a part of you that thinks, how are they getting by?
It's coasting. It is, you've hit this level where you know you can get paid to do it, so you just kind of, it's almost, I don't want to say bare minimum, kind of, but it feels, it's a comfort zone thing. Yeah. And I think there's such a difference between singers and artists. Mm-hmm. I don't want that to sound disrespectful either, because they're both commendable and both have a purpose. But I'm surprised how many singers who don't write, who don't play instruments. Yeah. And I'm trying to think of what else really surprises me on a daily basis. I love that I can be surprised by a musician who I've seen play 100 times. Like I think of a Shane Curl. Sorry to drop a name, but seen him play hundreds of times since I was like 19, and he still surprises me just because of the heart that he puts into it and the way that he plays. And so I love when it's somebody that I know and love that's still able to surprise me after all these years. That's usually the request I make for him, is surprise me.
Well, and that reflects somebody who's living their passion.
Truly. And you can feel the difference.
Yeah.
And so.
Well, that's the way it is. And regardless of what area you're in, because it's easy to see those that just kind of go through the routine.
Going through the motions of it. And then you can feel the difference.
But then somebody with a passion, they may not be as talented as somebody going through the routine sometimes.
No, but you
that
feel
passion,
something.
You feel it, and it overrides everything
I really
else.
think that's why I'm still working. Is just the passion and the drive that I've put into it. Because I'm not the greatest. I'm not the most technically advanced. When I started my first band, I didn't know how to change a guitar string. I went into this very ignorant and green and kind of just had to learn from my mistakes along the way. And I've learned a lot. And I started doing it in 2012 and I haven't stopped. And so I've been waiting for my body to be like, it's time to move on, time to find something new. Because sometimes I'm bad about that. But
my oldest son that I mentioned, he went first 2 years of college, made it through kind of that drop classes at the end if he was doing poorly, ended up 4 point, but not many hours. So he was in a band, and I finally told him, I said, take a year off, do the band thing, because when you're older, you'll always think about it. Well, he did. And then the second year, we're supporting the band. And by the time the father side of me kicked in, and so his hair had gotten long, it's called the big cheese. It's kind of like a widespread panic vibe. And but like the second year, his hair had gotten long. It was in dreadlocks. And he's like 6'1", fair complected, bright blue eyes. So not the right look for him. And so I finally told him, I said, when fall gets here, you're going to have to start back in school and get serious. And in 2 weeks, he had completely shaved his head. The ugliest, whitest head I've ever seen on him. He said, well, you said get your hair cut. And I said, I didn't say be stupid. And so fast forward, he went to law, decided he wanted to go to law school, became an attorney, lives in Cincinnati. And he's gotten with some other attorneys, and they have a band, and they play gigs.
They've merged the world. So, that's the coolest part.
Here's this little clean-cut, buzz, preppy attorney out playing all this music
that's awesome,
goes nothing with what you would think.
No, but he's had that love of it this whole time.
And, and so where he got all that, I don't know. But he's my wild child who has done some crazy things. But music is such an important part of his life.
Thank you for giving him that year or two to really see if it was right for him.
Yeah.
Because if you had forced him to stay in school and do it by the books, he may never have been brave enough, I think, to try it in his later life. And so good job, Dad.
Well, I had a lot of help from my wife.
Yeah, I know that probably was. It's got to be a scary choice as a parent to know that your child wants to go down this path.
Yeah. And then, especially when you don't like it, I don't say I didn't like it. It's just.
It's not your style.
It's not my style.
I have parents too. I guess.
Yeah, but it's one of there's part of me that's still, even at 66 now, that hasn't grown up, that loves to challenge and try new things and defy that. Like, well, that's not normal. Well, who cares? What's normal? So I like that part of it.
That's what I love about music is there's no one set of rules. There's a lot of creative liberty where people can go in any direction and all of them somehow are right. Like it's.
Right. So what would be what kind of challenges there still in you that would be one of those situations where it's like, why not? Have you thought about that? Or
do you mean as a musician
any musician or non-musician, just life in general?
Much like your son, I dropped out of college my second year to pursue the band.
Yeah.
And I would love to, that's been a biggest why not for me, is why not go back and get the degree? Okay. Even though I know I don't have to have a degree to do what I love, it's still a good little notch in a belt that could be good.
Oh, sure, yeah. Well, you never know, yeah. It could
other big why nots that you were talking about like the songwriter festivals and stuff like that. Why am I not brave enough to put myself out there and at least try? I'm sure there's a lot of different things that I've just kind of gotten in my way of the whole time. And
if you're like me, and I think you are in this respect, that I get in my way a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just have to like move yourself out of the way and
take yourself out of the equation.
And then to get in there and take that risk. Because if you don't, then what's the worst that can happen? No, or you have to do a different route or a different way to do it. I never like no for an answer. No is just like a delayed yes.
Is it?
Yeah, for me.
Is it?
That's why my son's like he is. He's just like me. So yeah. But goodness, our time is up. Thank you so much for coming in today.
That was a breeze. Thank you so much.
It was very relaxed. I told you it's going to be a relaxed, informal
You were right.
talk.
I appreciate it.
So we're going to put your information up, your address, your email address, and then your Instagram. And that way, if people want to find out more about you, they can follow you on Instagram and also reach out to you. And so where all do you play in there?
I try to send people to my Sunday gigs. I love my Sunday afternoons at AJ's Oyster Shanty. So it's Okaloosa Island.
Okay.
For y'all, it's a bit of a drive, but it's right in my neck of the woods. I'm there every Sunday, 1 to 5.
Okay.
And I'm out at Red's on a regular basis. If you even if I'm not at Red's, you still just go see Red.
Oh yeah. She's been on the podcast, of course, Paul's wife, but she is so much fun.
She is so much fun.
Yeah. Very talented individual herself.
She really is. She's been great for my backbone growth over the years.
Oh, yeah. And she'll tell you like it is, too.
She will.
All right. Well, thanks again for joining us today. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you, sir.
And thank you for joining us for another episode of Luxe Life Discovered. We'll see you soon.
Check out Luxe Life Discovered on Facebook and Instagram and on 30a.tv. See you next time on Luxe Life Discovered.